All right, so I'm going to go through a quick demo of doing UVs for some parts of the spinning wheel, just to give you a sense of how to proceed with all the basics. So you can see I've got the three items. I'm going to start with the wheel. I'll often isolate and just show one thing at a time. In case I haven't shown this in class, if you hit the / or divide key on your numeric keypad, that'll isolate the selected item so that it'll just automatically hide everything else. All right, so the first critical part here is to go into edit mode. I have a little bit of customization in my Blender, but I'm just doing the usual thing like tab into edit mode. I'm going to go ahead and go to edge selection, alt click on all of these edges. Basically, it's just a cylinder, except I have to do the additional cuts to account for the hole. Right click, mark seam. Okay, again, ignore the fact that it's yellow. I did a little customization, but it would probably be red in your case in your version of Blender. Then I have to worry about these outer and inner strips. They won't unwrap unless I do an additional cut. So I'll do, for instance, marking a seam right there, and maybe another one right under there. Oops, maybe I'm trying to get there just because. All right. So now that I've got all that done, I'm going to A to select all over here, and then A to select all over here. I'm just hovering my cursor over each window. And then in the UV editor, I like to just use the U hotkey, and you'll see unwrap and unwrap. Now, something to note here. This is something which I think I've mentioned in class, which is you really need to always apply transforms before doing your unwrap. In fact, you might even just take care of it before you do any UV work at all. So if I hit that / again, I can actually just select all my parts at once, Control A, and apply all transforms. Okay. Now you'll notice when I hit my side keypad, every single item I had selected has the transforms applied. In other words, it's a lot easier to just select all and apply all transforms again for everything before starting your UVs. So now that I've done that, if I just do a new unwrap, you'll notice this is very different. Now you'll see that those strips are scaled accordingly, the outer and inner strips. Okay, so that's the first object. Now I'm going to jump to this axle. Again, I'm going to hit the divide / on the numeric keypad, tab into edit mode. In this case, I think I'm just going to alt click on these outer ones and then right click, mark seam. So basically I'm having these caps, and this will unfold just fine. And then I'm going to need to do again one additional lengthwise cut across there so that the outer strip unfolds. So again, right click, mark seam, A, U to unwrap, unwrapped. It's okay if there's a little bit of distortion here. I'll show probably next class how you might straighten that out with a little bit. All right, back to object mode. Back to / Again, you can see I just do this as a process of elimination. Finally, I'm going to work on the spoke, hide everything else. I mentioned in class, I believe that you don't really need the caps. You don't need the caps, the top and the bottom faces. So I'm going to go to edit mode, face selection, shift select both of those faces, X, delete faces. Again, you won't need them because they're just buried inside the other parts. Switch back to edge selection. This also makes this much easier for UVs because I can just alt click on any one of these vertical edge loops, right click, mark seam, A, U, unwrap. That's it for all of your parts. So now, for instance, I could do my radial array, I could do all that stuff. Typically, this is the way I work, is that I'll just go ahead one by one and individually mark the seams and do the unwraps. And then what you can do at the very end, which again, I'll review this in class, is I'll select all my parts all at once in object mode, tab into edit mode, and you'll notice that there's a big jumble over here. We've got all different scaled parts and overlapping parts. But the cool thing is here, if I just do a brand new unwrap with everything selected, U unwrap, you'll notice what it's going to do is it's going to scale everything relative to one another, and it's going to do what's called packing. It's packing everything nice. Now you're probably going to have a lot more parts since I have a barely started spinning wheel here. But that gives you hopefully a good idea of how to proceed with all of your UVs.